restorative yoga practice this evening. As always with restorative, we need to have a bolster, we need to have our blocks. Sometimes we even have a couple of throw pillows, blankets for sure, have a blanket nearby or even two. But definitely a bolster is in order. So tonight we are going to start with what we call a restorative Matsyasana or fish pose. So each of the restorative postures is a variation on another posture that we would typically do in an active class. So if you haven't done restorative before, just know that we're going to be building off of the other pose, but it's going to be in a totally supported fashion. So what we're going to do to start is take a bolster and lay it across about 2/3 of the way up on your mat, so that the legs are going to come out down below and the bolster is going to be up here. We're going to bring it right in the upper back so that when we lay down, the breastbone is going to be lifted at the highest spot. So we'll just get into position first and understand that in restorative yoga, we typically hold these, we stay in these postures for quite a bit longer, but never fear, once you're in the posture, the idea is that it's quite comfortable. And so you really almost won't want to move once you get settled in. Now let me just say, if you're laying down over the bolster, another option here is to have a blanket underneath your head. So you can have a folded blanket if you like, and sort of just bring that under the back of the head so that it still is lower than the lift from the bolster, but maybe not quite so drastic an angle. So there's several ways that we can do this restorative fish pose, but this is the one I've chosen for this evening. It's really a nice support for the upper back and the rib cage. And then the way you want to feel your shoulders here is that the shoulders are not on the bolster. The top of the shoulders are actually rolling off the bolster themselves, so they are also being drawn down toward the ground. Now the arms in this position, if it feels comfortable, you can bring them overhead and just lay them up over your head. Elbows can be bent and the palms are up toward the ceiling. Another option would be to bring your arms into a T off the shoulders so they can come out wide. Now, for any reason this is still too intense and isn't something that feels comfortable on your shoulder area, then you can certainly bring your hands to your belly and just let your arms rest there. All right, so with all of those ideas and options in place, choose the one that feels most sustainable for you. And we'll begin dropping into this first restorative posture in earnest now. And just a reminder that we take a little bit longer to get situated and to make sure that the props we're using are completely aligned and supportive, because once we're here, we're trying not to move or shift or have to resituate once you've started the process. So take the time that you need at the beginning. And then once you're there and you feel like this is going to be a good place, just start to relax. Try to come to some mode of stillness. Letting go into the hands and the legs, letting the legs be soft and relaxed. belly drop down toward the floor. And then more than anything in this posture, begin to become aware of the purpose of this asana, the purpose of this shape is to lift your heart and expand into the lungs and rib cage. And as you begin to feel and experience that lift and expansion, notice how this isn't just a physical area of uplift, but this is a emotional area as well. So we'll bring in a little visualization into the posture, thinking about the heart and lungs and your entire heart cavity as filling up with light, buoyant air. Such that each time you inhale, you can feel that the chest wants to rise. You can feel that your heart cavity, your chest cavity, wants to embrace more space. And within that space, it's just going to fill with even more light and positive feeling. So picture with each breath, the light beginning to wrap itself around your heart, seeping out and around your lungs, allowing your ribs to open wide and feeling the emotional connection to this lift in your heart space, a feeling of lightness, feeling of love, of positivity, of courage. Your heart carries so much emotion in and around itself. And while it's not always positive emotion, you're going to try to tap into and break it open and let that emotion lift itself up. And in so doing, lift up the entire spirit of you and your being. Your chest is rising. Shoulders and collarbones are spreading. Maybe even bringing a little half smile to your lips. The smile of the Buddha. Indicating that you're feeling calm and serene within your heart. Feel deeply whatever is starting to seep through. Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself the experience of the posture. wherever you simply feel yourself letting go of constraints, letting go of the tight wrap around your heart, the more lifted and powerful you actually become. Lifted by light, lifted by positive energy which is inside you and only needs the space and the time we're going to give it here to break through. Feel at one with your positive energy, with your inner light. Perhaps even repeat that as a mantra to yourself. I am positive light within me and around me. I am the positive light within me and around me. Stay here for several more breaths. Finally getting to that place where the body starts to relax and let go. We're not in a rush this evening. I want to fully connect. Breaths here. Embracing and enjoying all the light and space we've created in the heart. Letting our spirit rise. Letting go of anything heavy or emotionally negative. From wherever you had them positioned. Wrap your arms around your chest. Bring your hands around your shoulders and give yourself a little hug. Squeezing in and just hugging yourself as if you are the dearest person you know. And release your arms. Let's bend your knees. Allow yourself to roll gently to one side. We're going to remove the bolster from its position and set up for our second posture. Right. So that was a nice, deep, and lovely opening for the heart. We're now going to offer the same love for the hips. So what we're going to do is bring a bolster and create a little support with the blocks. Bringing one tall block and then one short block in front, just a few inches apart, so that this bolster can now just lay down and be sturdy as it lays down and creates an incline. I'm creating a little easy chair here. From this posture now, we're going to take our blanket and create a little bit of a binding for our feet. So what we're going to do is take a blanket and begin with it in a rectangular quarter fold. A yoga blanket usually folded in half and half again makes a quarter fold. And then we're going to take that blanket and fold it long ways once and long ways again so that we create a nice long strip, basically. It's a nice long strip. So coming into what we call in restorative yoga, we call it butterfly, which is a variation of the yin posture. Also restorative Baddha Konasana, or bound angle. So to get into the posture, we're going to bring the lower back right up against the very start of the bolster. So make sure that you can kind of feel that bolster right at the base of your sacrum. Lay that big long blanket strip across your feet. Let your legs open wide. Now, caution here, if you would like, you can also bring some blanket or some throw pillows underneath your thighs. If your hips are very tight and it's too extreme to just let them fall open, then you can bring some pillows underneath your thighs here. If they're fine as is, we're going to take the blanket strip, wrap it around the ankles. We're going to pull that, we're going to come underneath the calves and pull it tight so that what we're ending up with is a binding around the feet. Yoga blankets are especially good for this because they tend to stick and stay in place. And then once that's in place, you should already be in the right position with your back to lay all the way back and down. Another nice option here, if you have an eye bag, sometimes that's a nice option. Anytime we're laying on our back, we can lay an eye bag on the eyes. It's just a little extra. It's not, it's not mission critical. So if you don't have anything like that, or a small towel sometimes works as well. It just kind of helps to block the light from the eyes. So either way is fine. Just letting your head lay back. As soon as the back begins to descend down, you're going to relax your hands on either side, just letting them drop down to the floor. Palms can be down or palms can be up, whatever feels more appropriate for you tonight. And then starting with the top of your head, make sure that your back feels very comfortable and relaxed with the incline support all the way down to the very tip of the tailbone. Should be a nice angle on your back. Feet are being gently pressed together. And then we're going to start the work, which is to really relax into the hips and the knees as well. So the first thing we're going to do is try to let the belly drop down toward the floor. So we're going to try to release and relax into the muscles around the pelvis, for once. I'm not going to say engage your core. In fact, I'm going to say just let it go. And as you start to relax the core muscles and your abdominals and your gluteal muscles, then the hips will start to respond. And right away, you may become aware of just how much tension or how much tightness you were holding in the hips. As you start to relax into your hips, imagine, if you would, that your breath, each time you inhale, comes all the way into the pelvis, swirls around your hips in a circular fashion, and then releases them a little bit more as you exhale. So follow the pattern and the path of your breath as it comes in through the nose, and visualize it moving all the way down into the bowl of the pelvis. As you exhale each time, picture the tightness in the hips seeping out and away, allowing the hips to soften and open. Very often, as you begin to relax through the hips, you may notice that there is a sensation. It can be a little bit intense. Please learn to discern what is a sensation of intensity and something that borders on pain. If there's ever a feeling in your body that you recognize as pain, then we want to ease up on whatever we're doing, create more support. We're never trying to clench or muscle our way into any posture, especially in restorative yoga. But I say this because it's not that you won't feel anything. You will feel your body's response to the letting go. Try to use your breath. Again, visualizing the breath as the agent for letting the tightness and tension release from your body. As the breaths get longer and slower, the more the hips will begin to relax. And just as we mentioned in the area of the heart space, there is an emotional connection to this part of the body as well. The belly is deeply attached to our emotional state. Our digestive organs, our reproductive organs, hormonal responses, all of that is very much a part of this area of the body. So as we begin to open up physically. Don't be surprised if you feel yourself opening up emotionally. This is natural. Continue to follow the path of your breath. Relax your shoulders and your jaw. Feel yourself completely release and let go. Yourself over. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Start to lift your knees up to the center. And before we go anyplace else, just allow your feet to slide out to the outer edges of your mat. Let your knees and thighs drop inward toward the center line, toward each other. Take the heel of your hand and just give yourself some circular massage on the outside of the hips. Just a little stimulation with the heel of your hand to wherever you were feeling that most intensely. And then we'll start to lift up. going to take that bolster, remove the blocks. Sitting on your mat with your legs outstretched, we're going to now open up the back side of the body. So this will be kind of the opposite effect of what we began with. So what we're going to do is place the bolster right on the legs and just make sure it's nice and close to the belly. Here you can take a block or even 2 blocks, whatever. You might want to play with this and just find out which height feels best to you. What we're going to be doing is folding forward and opening up the upper back in the opposite direction. So what we want to do is create a nice little support for the head. But what we're going to do is bring the forehead down and then leave space for our nose. So as we come forward, the forehead can rest on the support. So just play around with where that needs to fall for your comfort. And then we're just going to let everything relax forward. Again, you may need 1 block, you may want 2 blocks. A little time, as I mentioned at the beginning, to make sure that you're exactly where you need to be, because we want to be able to sustain this for several minutes. So once your forehead is in place, just let your arms come down by your side. Now in this posture, unlike what we typically do in an active class, we are allowing the back to just round forward. We're letting the shoulders round forward as well. Everything is soft. Your feet are soft. Your legs are soft. And just like a little stair step, we're going to feel the opening in the back of the spine, beginning with the large vertebra of the lumbar spine, even the connection of the spine to the pelvis, opening in the back, and then rolling up to the middle of your back, feeling the weight of the head drop forward and down so that the back of your neck also receives the space and the support of the posture. Settle into this pose, which we call caterpillar. Imagine yourself as a caterpillar, moving into a state of rest and stillness. Softly tucked in your cocoon. Completely supported in your environment. And let go of any place in the body where you notice a tendency perhaps to grip or hold on. Visualize breath in this new shape. Picture the breath moving up the back of the spine and stair-stepping up the vertebra. The back of the heart now being lifted and allowed to rise up between the shoulder blades. heavy that remains on your shoulders. Imagine it dripping down to be received by the earth. Just soften here and completely let go. Fall into this a little deeper. See if you can unclench your jaw and create a little space between the teeth. Let the eyes rest easily in their sockets. Feel a sense of softness behind the ears. Stay nestled here for a minute or so more. Completely enjoying the state of relaxation. calm that's wrapped around you. Start to lift up. Come all the way back up. Straightening up your back. I'm going to take these away. And our next posture is going to be a little bit of a twist. Going to do is lay down on our side. Well, actually we're going to lay down on our back. Bring your bolster with you though. So what we're going to do with this one, a couple things. Bring the blanket up under your head. So that folded blanket we had before, just bring that up under your head. We're going to actually bring the bolster between our legs so that it can lay, so that the ankles and knees and thighs have the bolster in between. So we have this nice little cushion. It's a very secure feeling to have that in between. And then we're going to lay down, let the upper body still face upward, and we're just going to allow ourselves to create the twist in the lower part of the body. So a couple things here. If this is too intense, you can certainly roll on your side and just make this a side lying pose. The other option would be to bring a pillow or some other support under the lower leg so that the twist is not quite so intense. So you can accommodate this for whichever way you need to create the support that feels best for you. If it feels okay to let both shoulders lay flat and then open up your arms in a T, we're just going to let the lower part of the body relax and roll to one side. And just start to release and let everything come down. Now we're not going to stay in each of these sides quite as long as we did the other postures, since we have to switch and create it equally on both sides. So we'll come into this one and just relax down. Whichever side you began on, just begin to feel that your lower back is getting a nice little twist, but also think about the internal organs as well. So it's just very gently creating a little bit of a different positioning for the major organs inside the body. The spleen and the liver and the digestive tract, stomach. And it's just kind of nice for them to get a little bit of a different relationship to gravity, relationship to the spine. Again, if this creates any pain whatsoever in the spine or anywhere in the body, then please find yourself a different supportive posture. Remembering that yoga isn't a one-size-fits-all. We really have to pay attention to what feels good for each of us. So I can guide you and I can offer these suggestions. But it's really up to you to make sure that it's serving your needs. So just breathe into this gentle, supported twist. Just stay here a couple of minutes. Just enough to let everything relax down. Breath here. And all we're going to do to change sides is just sort of squeeze the bolster in between your legs. Roll to the center of the mat. And just scoot your hips around so that you can easily release and let the knees fall to the other side. So the arms and the torso hasn't changed, the chest still facing upward. We're now just repositioning, adjusting for any additional support that you need. Begin to relax and let go once again. Let your knees come back to the center. And then just help yourself up, gently rising. And we will set up for our final posture this evening, which we will call our Shavasana. So we're just going to do a nice legs up posture. Nice little inversion for the legs. This time we're just going to create that same base of support for the bolster, a tall block, and then a short block in front. Lay your bolster here. Keep your blanket where it was. And we're just going to use that under our head as we lay back down. So for this last one, we're going to bring the base of the bolster right up to the tailbone so that we have as much of that bolster as possible for our legs to lay on. Now, a nice option, especially if you're in an area that's cold or chilly, is to have a second blanket and be able to throw it over you. I don't have one handy right now, so I'm not going to do that, but I would always recommend coming to Restorative with 2 blankets because they're really nice to sort of tuck in and bring it over your body. In this case, I'm going to say to take the blanket underneath your head, roll the corners of the blanket under, and bring those corner rolls right underneath your ears and create a nice little support for your head. It just cups your head in a really sweet and supportive way, which I call a head cradle. And option again, if you have the eye bag or a towel and you'd like to bring that over your eyes, that just really helps to sort of set the tone for a soothing atmosphere. It's always nice to have a little scented candle or some other kind of environmental aid. These are all things you can bring into the restorative practice that just kind of elevates it or takes it to the next level of relaxation. But the main thing is just learning to let go of your mind, allowing the body the space and time that it needs to trust and let go of the need to hold on. That is really what this practice is all about. Throughout our day, we typically hold ourselves in tight control, whether we even realize it or not. Restorative yoga brings us back to our natural state of ease. It's the place where we're meant to be. It's a way of re-educating, of relearning how to be at ease with our body. So try to bring yourself back right now to the place where you feel supported and safe and are able to let go. We'll stay here for a few minutes and really drop in deeply into this final posture. around you. Filling up not just your body, but your spirit and soul. Relish this feeling. Allow it to sink in deeper and deeper and deeper. You are being restored. To begin transitioning out of the practice, you can take a little deeper breath back into your body. Bend your knees and slide your feet down the bolster to the mat. You may certainly stay here for as long as you wish. If you're ready, you can come up to a seat once again. Rising up, bringing hands to heart, finding a deep place of gratitude and peace within. May you have peace of mind and peace of heart until we meet again. Om Shanti. Namaste.